how the Industrial Revolution rewired humanity forever. For most of human existence, progress moved at the speed of footsteps and seasons. Life rose with the sun, slowed in winter, and depended on muscle, human or animal, to get anything done. Power came from rivers, wind, or whatever strength the body could spare. Generation after generation lived in ways their ancestors would instantly recognize. Then, almost without warning, that ancient tempo shattered. In a single corner of the world, humans discovered how to unlock energy buried deep beneath their feet, and once they did, nothing would ever move slowly again. This is the story of how the Industrial Revolution didn't just change how we worked, it changed how we lived, thought, and measured time itself. A world before machines. Before factories and engines, production was intimate and local. Tools extended the arm, not the imagination. A merchant in the 1700s lived a life structurally similar to one in ancient Rome. Goods were handmade, transportation was slow, and growth had limits. Economic expansion was constrained by biology and geography. When people grew tired, work stopped. When rivers froze or winds died, so did productivity. That fragile balance would not survive the 18th century.
Why Britain lit the fuse. The transformation began in Great Britain, not by accident, but by alignment. Britain had 5 decisive advantages that, together, formed the perfect ignition point. First, farming had already become more efficient. New agricultural techniques meant fewer workers were needed to feed the population, releasing millions of people from the land. Second, Britain had relative political stability. Property rights were protected, contracts were enforced, and investors felt confident risking capital. Third, geography worked in Britain's favor. As an island threaded with rivers and coastlines, moving goods was cheaper and faster than almost anywhere else in Europe. Fourth, centuries of scientific curiosity had produced a culture that valued experimentation over tradition. But the final advantage was the most important of all: coal. Britain sat atop enormous coal reserves, and unlike labor, coal was cheap. Hiring people cost money, burning coal did not. That single imbalance created a powerful incentive to replace muscles with machines. Cotton, the first battlefield. The first industry to feel this pressure was textiles. Demand for cotton cloth was exploding, but Britain faced a problem. Indian producers were faster, cheaper, and better. Their hand-woven fabrics dominated global markets. Instead of surrendering, British innovators attacked the bottleneck. The flying shuttle doubled weaving speed, but created a crisis. Yarn production couldn't keep up. That crisis triggered a cascade of inventions. Machines appeared that allowed one worker to spin multiple threads at once. Then larger devices emerged that required water power. Production began drifting out of cottages and into centralized buildings. This was the moment work stopped being a household activity and became an industrial process. Within decades, output soared beyond anything previously imaginable. Towns transformed into factory cities. Cotton went from scarcity to saturation. The age of the mill had begun.